He also NFLPride.com. Let's kick things off this week with talk to. Hey, please tell me why and who at 6-0 he wins, but the only undefeated team in the NFL. Go ahead and celebrate freely, sir.
Well, I kind of feel like at this point we sort of need one power rankings for all the teams that have tasted the sting of defeat, that know what it means to be imperfect, and we need a separate power ranking sort of above that, completely superior to that, for the teams that, you know, have yet to really know what it means to not win. I think that sounds fair. Maybe we try that for next week.
I like that idea. Joel, is there any doubt that the Falcons are the #1 team? They have the perfect record, but they've looked shaky in beating some questionable teams over the last couple of weeks.
You know, I think at this point, the Falcons are really the only choice for #1. You know, you can get down to the argument, you know, who would win in a head-to-head matchup against the Ravens or, you know, 49ers or some of those other top 5 teams. But right now, I mean, 6-0, the only undefeated team. I think there's something like 2 teams in the AFC that have a winning record. So it shows you how much parity there is in the league this year. Falcons at 6-0, even though they've been a little closer than maybe they should have been the past few weeks, you guys still got to give them credit for being undefeated. You know, I think they're the best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I was going through the standings the other day, and it's like I think something like 75% of the NFL is 3-3. It's kind of a mess.
It's weird. It's weird. Yeah, two teams in the AFC are over 500. The Ravens and the Texans, and they're both 5-1.
Yeah.
What a dog-shaped conference.
And then both of those teams have just lost their best defenders, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, 2 of them for Baltimore and then Cushing for Houston. Falcons aren't looking too bad. Well, the Falcons also had the advantage of playing the AFC West this year, so.
Yeah, we basically got 2 preseasons. We got the actual one, and then we got to play the AFC West, and we got Peyton Manning early. So, you know, I would agree that it's not the best 6-0 ever, and I also would kind of want to join the AFC. Maybe we can look into how to do that.
Yeah, no kidding. So, Jason, when do you think the Falcons are going to get their first loss? They got Eagles, Cowboys, Saints, Cardinals coming up. I mean, a few tough games.
Yeah, all those sound pretty challenging. I mean, the Eagles have had the Falcons' number for about a decade now. It's kind of this mini rivalry, at least on our side, at least with the Vic thing and multiple playoff losses to them, and they always play each other very tough. With the Eagles making a coordinator change, that sort of gives me a little better feeling than ordinarily I would have. With Michael Vick fumbling all the time, also that makes me feel pretty good as well. But I could see that being the game. The Saints, that's a rivalry game. That's always going to be a toss-up, no matter who's up and who's down. Really, any 4 of those games, but those would be the 2 I'm most concerned about.
Yeah, I think that Eagles game could be tough, but you never know what you're going to get from the Eagles. They could just as easily blow them out. The Saints game in New Orleans is the one I would worry about. I know New Orleans sucks this year, but it's still a hard place to go in there and win.
Let me do something about that. That's me.
Hold for barking.
It's me. Hush! See, here's what happened. I talked about Mike Vick.
So bad.
Jason Kirk is our only blogger in the South today. Joel, talking about the rest of the top 5, I noticed from after the Falcons, it's just kind of guesswork, where you've got the Texans getting manhandled by the Packers, who came out of nowhere to be the Packers once again. And also the Bears getting the top 5 by virtue of enjoying a bye week. Where are you getting flack from fan bases this week?
I think the Bears are maybe a little high. I guess I can see that argument, but through 5 weeks they've looked pretty strong in 4 of their games. So I think they merit that top 5 right now. And then the Giants fans. Last week I had the Giants at 11, which was much, much lower than most other people did. Our Giants blog, Ed Valentine at Big Blue View, gave me some crap about that. This week I moved them back up into the top 5. I think they've kind of solidified themselves, for right now. But the Giants are one of those teams, sort of like the Eagles, where I just go back and forth on them like every week. Always think, they're going to get it done, and then they blow it. Think they're going to blow it, and then they get it done. So don't have a great read on the Giants yet, but at 4-2 with some of the teams they've played so far, I think fourth is fair for them right now. Although I can make an argument for them to, I think, be sitting around 6 or 7 or 8.
I can solve the Giants problem for you right here.
Let's hear it.
Here's what the Giants do, and it's a team that is, of course, defined by Eli Manning, who is all you have to do is make sure that, like, sometimes he takes the field and the good switch is flicked off, and then, like, it's sometime usually in the second half, one of the coaches is like, oh, we have it set to bad, Eli. They flick it on, and they win the game.
I think the only thing we need to know with the Giants is they're going to finish the year like 8-5-3 and make the Super Bowl. So rank them wherever you want.
That is true. It's kind of pointless to rank them at this point.
The Giants are one of the worst home teams in the NFL. Like, they can go into anybody's house and just blow them out, and they're horrible at home. I've never seen anything like it. And I've been to MetLife Stadium too. They just they don't care.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, they're still top 10 offense and defense, so they're doing something right. I think they'll probably go ahead and win more than 8 games this year, maybe 9 like last year. But I think they're a very good team, but they don't have the feel of like a truly elite team that's going to dominate you, all the time. I just don't get that. I think they're a little inconsistent for that right now.
Absolutely. All right, if we're going to move into the rest of the top 10, you have the Seahawks at number 8. I, for one, as a Seahawks fan, I think that they get more of an incomplete. I think that the win against the Patriots was obviously a great one for them. We'll learn a lot more about that Seahawks team depending on their performance Thursday night in San Francisco. But are you getting flack from people who say the Seahawks are not that good?
A little bit. They still have, I think, like the second best defense in the NFL. It's pretty ridiculous. And they've beaten some legit teams: Packers, Patriots, the Cowboys too. So I think they kind of earned that ranking right now. But the offense is way too inconsistent to think that they're going to be there every week. I can see them ending up being like a 9-win team, 8-win team, or something like that at the end of the year, just because I don't think that offense will be able to carry them, for the rest of the year. But right now, 4-2, a couple of huge wins over teams I have ranked in the top 10. I think 8 is a good spot for them. I saw a lot of other people have them, like the lower teens, which I guess is fair. So compared to that, I'm a little high. But I think they're, a solid top 10 team right now.
And I have to agree. This is a 4-2 team that both the games that they lost on the final possession in the rookie quarterback's first three NFL starts. So I think that if Russell Wilson continues to improve, you're looking at a team that's going to challenge in the NFC West, maybe get to the playoffs. I think that's a solid team.
So what are you guys going to do with Matt Flynn next year?
Man, I don't know.
Talk about not thinking through a plan.
Nobody expected the third-round rookie quarterback to win the starting job.
I mean, every college fan did. I'll tell you that.
That's true. Every single I've been badgered by Wisconsin fans who have been like, Russell Wilson's going to be great, and I'm like, yeah, well, that's fine and dandy, but he's been making me lose my hair for the first 4 games. It's like the learning curve's been steep for him. So it's.
But if someone told you before the season that the Seahawks were going to be 4-2 and have one of the best defenses, you'd be pretty happy with that.
It's true. It's true. It's one of those things where, as a Seahawks fan, it's easy to focus on the negative. And I love watching that defense play. And it's like, for a defense that has played so well, they should have a better record than 4-2. This is a very, very good team. And again, like I said, I'm putting all my eggs into Thursday night because I'm terrified of what's going to happen. The Niners are going to come out angry, having gotten their asses handed to them by the Giants. The Seahawks are going to be coming off the emotional high. It's a classic letdown game. And also, Wilson has trouble with outside pressure, and the Seahawks receivers are not going to get as open against the Niners as they did against the Patriots. So it'll be a real test if they beat the Giants in San Francisco. Then we can say, yes, the Seahawks are for real.
They beat the Giants in San Francisco, huh?
Oh, yeah, I get my
the bar is up there.
They're going to kick that baseball team's ass. All right, let's talk shitty teams. Can I say shit? I just did. It's the internet.
Yes.
Matt,
before we make it to the shitty teams, got to stop at number 19, the Dolphins, right in the middle. Last week, I had the Dolphins ranked way too low at 26. At 3-3, they've had 2 of their losses come in overtime. So they're not, that far from being a potential 5-1 team. Dolphins fans gave me a lot of crap last week, and they were right. I didn't respect them. Moved them up 7 spots this week. Now they're solidly in the middle of the pack in the NFL right now. I just had to throw that out there. Dolphins fans come in large numbers, and they get angry on the internet sometimes.
I love that this is your bone to them, like, hey, Dolphins fans, I'm sorry. Your team is actually 19th best in the NFL.
I know.
I was wrong about Ryan Tannehill. He's only the 4th best rookie quarterback starting right now.
So the Dolphins get their nod.
All right, and then let's go to the bottom of the pack. Jason, who do you think is the worst team in the NFL?
Well, having played pretty much the entire list of candidates, the Raiders are really bad. I mean, but Darren McFadden's awesome, and Matt Castle. I mean, gosh, sorry for the insult there. Carson Palmer, if he has a lot of time, he's still a quarterback. But I mean, Matt Castle, the Raiders. That's a tough battle right there. I couldn't pick a favorite.
I think it's got to be the Chiefs, man. Oh, man. Brady Quinn. Brady Quinn, we learned this week.
I was excited about Brady Quinn. This is what it's come to.
Oh, man, that did not work out well.
No, I had my definition of success for Brady Quinn. One of them was 2 or less turnovers, because compared to Matt Castle, that is an upgrade. And he did only 2 interceptions. It's a happy week here in Kansas City. Can you see my
getting
slide?
there?
I do like the Chiefs had some excellent punt coverage. That was the play of the week in my book. Was the lone touchdown that they scored against the Jets. Really,
that was a weird play.
Oh, it was hilarious. I love
it. The Chiefs touchdown. So yeah, pretty weird play.
Oh man, but it's true. That's why I don't have any comebacks. I just have to sit here and take it. But yeah, besides the Chiefs being awful, bottom 5, I've got the Panthers there. I was hyping them during the preseason. I thought they'd be a lot better than what they are. The Jaguars, kind of expected they would be there. They are. They're 1-4. The Browns got their first win last week. They're going to hang around the bottom 5, though. But I like Trent Richardson a lot. So I think it's probably like the Browns. I could see a future there with them. I can see Trent Richardson making them relevant down the road. So I don't think they're as hopeless as some teams like maybe the Jags or the Chiefs or the Raiders.
Yeah, the Browns actually, despite their record, have some upward mobility. They've been playing teams close. Also, I think that the Panthers have got a couple more tough weeks coming up with Chicago and I believe Dallas and the Redskins. But I think that we're going to see the Panthers improve by the end of the season. I do think that Cam Newton has struggled a little bit, but he struggled against pretty good defenses, the Giants and the Seahawks. And I think we're going to see that the Panthers will finish the season after this horrible start. They're going to finish probably like 6-10. Not going to be a great season for him, but it's not going to be as bad as it is right now.
No, yeah, they could have some serious problems coming up. They got Cowboys, Bears, Redskins, Broncos. I mean, not out of the question that they lose all four of those. So Panthers aren't the most disappointing team in the NFL, but they're awfully close because I don't think many people had them pegged at 1-4 right now. They were kind of the popular surprise playoff pick before the season.
Yeah, they're kind of the most disappointing dark horse, like the dark horse that
Great way to put it.
Just stayed dark.
Yes, exactly.
Put that horse down. Jason, since we got you here, we might as well talk a little bit more about the NFC South and the lousy teams in it. That Saints that poster is not doing a good coaching job with the Saints. Will they get better as the season goes along?
Yes, they will. Not only will they get players back from suspensions, and if the bounty stuff will happen, depending on how all that works out, they might get.
What was that?
What was what?
What was this?
This is the symbol for bounty stuff.
Oh, I was wondering.
See it again. But yeah, I mean, they still have Drew Brees. He might still be the best player in the NFL. They still have talent everywhere, and that poster, it's accumulating knowledge week to week. Eventually, it's going to put it together. I'm still very scared of the Saints. I think the Falcons have a 4-game lead on them at this point, 4 or 5 games, and that's not enough. That could disappear. That could be halved in 2 weeks. The Saints are still notorious nemesis number 1 for the Falcons.
The other division that I find to be kind of compelling right now, aside from the NFC West, is the AFC North with the Ravens at 5-1, clearly atop the division, but having just lost Ray Lewis and Lardarius Webb. Terrell Suggs is likely going to be out for the season. He's not back yet. And is that defense going to fall apart? The Steelers look terrible at 2-3, having lost to teams like the Titans and the Raiders. The Steelers look bad, and the Bengals are one of those teams where you don't know which team's going to show up. Joel, how do you see that division shaking out?
Love that division. It's one of my favorite divisions. I'm a big fan of that old school defensive-minded football. But yeah, the Ravens obviously look like the best team in the division, but it gets really interesting once you take out Ray Lewis and Ladarius Webb, and Suggs isn't back yet. Nagata was banged up last week. I mean, I know the defense, that Baltimore defense reloads every single year, but that's a lot to take in one, losing all those guys in 1 week. So that's going to be storyline number 1 in the AFC North. How do the Ravens respond from that? And from there, it's kind of what we expected. I think most of us expected the Bengals and the Steelers to kind of be battling it out, for the next best team behind the Ravens. We'll find that out, next week. Steelers Bengals, big game next week. So that could go a long way towards deciding the division. And then of course there's the Browns at the very bottom. But I think at the end of the day the Ravens will ultimately pull out in this division. But it's not going to be that 13-win season that I thought they were going to have at one point. This could end up being a division where you have 3 teams with 8 to 10 wins.
Yep. Jason, I gotta ask, what kind of dog do you have?
We have a Dachshund, and that noise right now is my daughter. She doesn't seem to realize she's on the internet, so she's whining about I'm not quite sure what, but the entire world can hear it right now, and she sounds like a dog.
That's all right.
That's good.
Do it again.
you ask for it, and it's gone.
Nothing.
All right, so Matt, are you the only one here that doesn't have their dog sitting in the room with them? Because I do.
No, I would love to bring my dog to work, but the subway precludes it. She's 65 to 70 pounds, which keeps her from fitting into my bag. If I had a car, I could bring her in, but just not going to happen. So
tough break.
It would be great. She's
There's nothing you can do about it either.
No, I understand. You can't just like they're children. You can't just seal them up in a cage.
Just click it off. It's not going to stop.
All right, let's close things up with. I like to close things up with the coach's hot seat. Who is the first coach who will be fired mid-season? Jason, do you have any idea?
Well, Andy Reid's already pulled the throw the lifeboat out out the canoe move at this point. Maybe he's the first one on the list. The story seems to be if Mike Vick doesn't work out, then he's gone at the end of the year, and then Reid will surely go with him. If that record slips much more, that talk is only going to heat up. We know Philly fans are Philly fans, and they will only get more and more Philly as the year goes on. He's the first name that comes to mind for me, along with my daughter. She's on the hot seat right now.
Joel, what about you?
I want to say Pat Shurmur, Browns head coach, with the ownership change there. The new owner usually brings in his own guy. But Haslam said today that there aren't going to be any more changes for the rest of the year. So I'm going to trust him on that, which is probably not a good idea.
I'm sure Pat Shurmur will retire.
Yes, Shurmur's going to retire at 45 too. But outside of that, I think Jason nailed it. The Andy Reid name really jumps out at me. And I know Reid's kind of gone through that. This kind of do or die stage for the past few years now, but this year with clearly Andy Reid needs to go. But yeah, this year already firing the defensive coordinator. Vic's not playing well. I mean, there's only so many people you can blame this on. I think he kind of ran out of those options last year. So I wouldn't be surprised if it were Andy Reid, late in the year when the Eagles are struggling and they need to kind of rejuvenate the fan base if Reid was gone.
Well, if you ask Eagles fans, his firing is only overdue by 5 to 6 seasons. So,
yeah,
it's time to move on.
See, it's one of those things. Eagles fans are going to get their wish, and then 3 years down the line, they're not going to be any good. They're going to be like, "What happened to the days when we could win 10 games every year and lose in the second round of the playoffs? Why can't we have those back?"
They're never going to be happy. All right, gentlemen, we've hit 25 minutes or so. That's where we usually do this. Thank you very much to Jason Kirk and young Miss Kirk of the Falcoholic.com. Also to Joel Thorman of ArrowheadPride.com and SB Nation NFL. I'm Matt Ufford. Follow us all on Twitter and enjoy the games. Thank you, gentlemen.
Take care, guys.
Ending broadcast now.